So you join me back at chapter 6. We know, the characters are amazing, aren't they? We've got Mr. Gum and his nasty plan. We've got innocent Jake of the Whopper Dog. We've got Polly, who we've just met, and a strange man, Friday O'Leary, who we're not meant to know anything about, but we do know a little. What's going to happen next? Chapter 6 is called Mr. Gum Lays Down His Heart. Meanwhile, Mr. Gum was a mumbling and a grumbling his way into town. He made his way right past Billy William III's Right Royal Meat, and while he was tempted to go in, he knew that it would be a waste of time. He would never find anything nice smelling in Billy William's butcher's shop. That was one of the reasons Mr. Gum liked him, because he was a stinker. There were no customers with Billy William at that hour, and Mr. Gum could see him through the dirty window. He was playing a game of butcher's darts, which is exactly the same as normal darts, except the board is a pig's head and the darts are old sheep bones. Billy William had invented it one day. Mr. Gum loved butcher's darts, but there was no time to pop in and challenge Billy William to a match. He had more important fish to fry. Or was it to poison? Or rather, dog, not fish. He had a more important dog to poison. So he continued on and crossed over to Mrs. Lovely's wonderful land of sweets, which was a sweet shop at the other end of the road. As you might guess, Mr. Gum didn't enjoy going in there at all because it was a wonderland of sweets and goodness, and Mr. Gum was a filthy old devil who hated good things like sweets and birthday parties and kittens dressed as clowns. He would much rather hear a piano being demolished by an illegal bulldozer than a Mozart concerto. He didn't even like pop music, not even the Beatles. And the only thing he liked about Beatles was their name because they sounded like insects, and you could scare people with insects. So he stepped into the sweet shop as cautiously as a paper hat into a storm. Immediately, the air was full of marvellous scents. The powdery smell of sherbet lemons mingled with the odour of strawberry bombs and licorice whips. Mr. Gum felt sick. He felt as if he were being attacked by the forces of good. When he was a boy, he had loved eating sweets, but that was before he had turned into a bad man. Yet now he seemed to hear a voice of the boy he had once been calling down the years to him. Where did it go, all the good? Where, oh, where? Turn again, turn again. You can be good again. I know it. There's still time. Turn again, Mr. Gum, said the voice in his head. He looked down and he heard and saw that the voice wasn't a voice in his head at all, but it belonged to the young boy standing next to him. Turn again, Mr. Gum. You can be good again, said the boy, offering him a fruit chew. For some strange reason, the boy's honest face frightened Mr. Gum more than anything else in the sweet shop. All this talk of turning again, he snarled, shoving the boy out of the door. I don't like it, I tells you. It makes me feel sick. At that moment, Mrs. Lovely came tumbling out of the back room with her kindly eyes, kindly nose, and kindly ears. How can nose and ears be kindly? Wondered Mr. Gum, but it was true. Everything about Mrs. Lovely was kindly. She was even kindly to disgraces like Mr. Gum, and he could not bear this. It made him want to break down inside and cry all the bad things away. Hello, you old witch, he sneered. Give me some lemon powder. Mrs. Lovely's eyes sparkled. Yes, indeed, it is a beautiful day, Mr. Gum. Yes, indeed. And she smiled as she measured out a bag of lemon powder. I don't know what's so lovely about the day, you old menace, snarled Mr. Gum, handing over some potatoes he had painted to look like pound coins to save him money. He was annoyed to see that as soon as the potatoes touched Mrs. Lovely's hands, they turned into real money. One of them turned into a jewel with a laughing face. Shove 'em, Whiskers, he growled, turning on his heel in disgust. A pleasure to see you as always, Mr. Gum, beamed Mrs. Lovely as the old man stormed out with the bag of lemon powder. clutched between his elbows. I do hope you'll come again soon. That's the character. Oh, got shining on my page that you've just met. This is lovely. Mr. Gum hardly noticed the walk home, mainly because he took a taxi. He couldn't wait to get his plan into action. Very soon he was back in his smelly kitchen. He rubbed his hands together gleefully and danced a cruel jig like a spiteful imp who snotted all over the presents on Christmas morning. He opened the little bag and sprinkled its contents over the rotten, poisoned cow hearts. Then he gave them a quick sniff. Jibbers, he gasped, clutching his throat. Oh, they smell of lemon and sunshine and friendship. Oh, can hardly breathe. Holding it at arm's length, Mr. Gum took the plate of doom out into his very neat and tidy garden. He placed it right in the middle of the lawn, where Jake was sure to see it. The day was very still. Not a single blade of grass was moving. Somewhere in the distance, a chicken barked. Mr. Gum settled back into his favourite broken chair to see what would happen. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Jake is going to know the plan? Is Polly going to come to the rescue in time? Who is going to win this story? Who knows? We'll have to wait for further chapters. Chapter 7 will be next.